Ooh. Ooh, coming in hot, but StreamYard is lagging on my end. Is it lagging on your guys' end? Not a good look. Not a good look. I'm hoping it gets better. It looks like it's getting better. Anyways, can you guys see me and hear me? Hello. It is hump day. I am here. Hello. Let me see. Let me wait till I see some of you guys in chat. I don't know why StreamYard is so delayed. Okay. Here we go. I was gonna do a Laura live. Can you guys see me and hear me okay? I'm concerned. I see Taz Mom. I see Debbie, Christine, Robert, Cree's better now. Okay, so when I started off, it was probably shitty. Anyways, okay, we need to talk. I'm shook. I had a Laura Owens live, a hearing today. I think looks good. Thank you, Crease. And shout out to Crease for being here. Appreciate you. Hello, Evie. Good to see you, love. Everything looks good. Okay, so I was gonna do a Laura live, and then this came out, and I'm like, I have to stop. I'm gonna stop what I'm doing. David Anthony Burke did have a hearing today in Los Angeles for the murder of Celeste, the abusing and murder of Celeste and dismembering. It got moved on the 1st. I think there was supposed to be another hearing, but now that has moved, has been, I think it's May 26th. I could be wrong about the date, maybe the 21st. I apologize. I don't have the exact date, but I know it's been changed. But at the hearing today, there has been documents that have been released, and I'm shook. I'm shook. We've been talking about this. I've been deep into this case. I tried to do a Laura Owens live tonight, and it was just not cut out for the universe. We were supposed to cover David hearing. I did get my hands on the 9-page document. We're gonna get into it. It's brutal. The deeper we get into this case and into the rabbit hole, I remember in the last live I said, was Celeste pregnant and they just can't disclose that? I've always thought that that could have been a factor, and the paperwork today kind of solidifies that maybe that could have been. So thank you for modding for Jumpsuit. Oh yeah, I love Jumpsuit. I love Jumpsuit, absolutely. He's great. Thank you for being here. Let's go into, I want to look at the SF post that he made about the hearing today. SF investigates 𝗍𝗏, and then I want to get into the document. It's absolutely insane. I don't even know. David is requesting to also, before I move on, he is requesting that he wanted normal clothing and a haircut. He didn't get the clothing. He wasn't granted that, but he was granted a haircut. So he was requesting to be in civilian clothes rather than the jail clothes for hearings and trials. I'm kind of glad that didn't get granted. It's like you need to wear what you are, and you're a murderer and you're a groomer of children. Yeah. So I don't know what the whole hair thing is, but I guess I get it. Let's look at this post by 𝗍𝗏, and then we're gonna get into the documents. It's absolutely insane. Oh, let me sure. Okay, here we go. So this is from today, from the David hearing continued until May 26th. So is that what I said? I don't know. It's hump day, so we're having a good time. I was already having my drink. We're gonna do a little hearing, watch Laura Owens. Oh, I forgot to do the intro. Why do I always forget to do the intro? Please make sure you guys hit the like button. Thank you for being here. If you didn't already know who I am Millie. This is my home. You are welcome to be here anytime you want to be here. Please make sure you subscribe to the second channel. Also, I think I will be going live tonight over there, hangout time. So I'll be doing a post about that. But nonetheless, back to Celeste Rivas Hernandez, who was groomed, killed, and dismembered by David Anthony Burke. This case is being tried out of Los Angeles. I think we already know that. SF says from the David hearing continued until May 26th, the speedy preliminary was a bluff by the defense. The game of hide the ball from the public has started. The judge agreed to put a protective order on the search warrants and affidavits, as well as the grand jury transcripts. So much for an open and transparent system. David's defense even asked for a simple brief to be sealed. After running the worst PR campaign in history the last 7 months, not coming out with a single statement supporting their client, the defense now thinks the public will form a poor opinion of their client if the public sees any of the discovery. His lawyers seem more like publicists than criminal trial litigators. That's interesting to read. Actually, now that I'm reading it again. I mean, I don't know what the defense has. What could they possibly say to defend David Anthony Burke here? I don't understand. There's a lot of digital evidence, witnesses. They have pretty good information according to the document that we're about to get into. So I really don't know. Let's see some of the comments. I like to be nosy. David was the last person to drive Tesla before a girl's body was found in the trunk. So 𝗍𝗏 knew. 𝗍𝗏 knew who was the last person to drive it, and he couldn't say it. Someone said Steve. Yeah, because 𝗍𝗏 came out initially. He was the first one to come out and say that someone had driven that Tesla and that he knew who it was. Thank you, Mercedes. Says, I'm happy to see you live. I've become a loyal follower. Your service was so informative. Thank you for your hard work. You're the best. That's really nice. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm glad you found me. So, okay, we knew that. This is Tesla, right? Megan says, to the surprise of definitely not me, David's lawyers are not ready for a preliminary hearing on May 1st. Of course not. Of course they're not. It's a possible death penalty case. They weren't going to be ready in 60 days. I thought SF said it wasn't David. I don't know. He said he knew. I don't know who he said, but you might be right, true crime. Listen, it's his car. Who's not going to report a stolen Tesla? At the end of the day, it's like, it's his car, you know? They requested it rescheduled to May 26th, so like a month out, a little bit less than a month. He's due back in court for a status conference on May 12th. Prosecutors file a brief that David's lawyer, Blair Burke, complained it's one-sided and contained the jury pool. She wanted the judge to seal it, but the judge said no. Dude, it's not one-sided. Your client has anime of dismembering women. He did what he did. It's not one-sided. Sounds like the defense has got something going on here. Judge Olmedo specified that the protective order means David can't keep a copy of any discovery information in his jail cell. No photos, no documents, not anything. If his lawyers believe he needs a copy of something, they have to get judge's permission to give it to him. Wow. That is huge. It's like the Stefan Stearns situation, you know, when I thought that he could see all that CSAM, I'm like, why should he be able to relive that? Like, he gets off on that. He gets horny off that. The killers get horny off the gory stuff. I'm just being honest. They get off on that shit. That's why they like it. Their mind is wired that way. Well, listen. I don't think anything should be sealed here, so I'm done with the judge. Yeah, he shouldn't have any photos, no documents, no nothing, David. You sit your ass in that cell and shut the fuck up because no one wants to hear from you ever again. Hello, Jason. Hello, Jules. And hello, Vicky. Hey, I wish someone would look at the shirt he has on. Yeah, the bloody shirt. I know. I wanted to make sure I included it in the thumbnail. He can read documents but can't have his possession. Yeah, no photos. No photos. We are way past a poor opinion of Blair Burke. Most of us already want him dead. F this effing piece of shit country. Treating criminals with dignity and respect. A child was murdered in a cruel, cold manner by a psychopath who was a nobody. He was still up and coming up who's protecting this piece of human garbage. He doesn't deserve anything. Hey, we're open to opinions here as long as we remain respectful. I am open to reading the comments and knowing what my fellow civilians have to say. I agree. If it were up to me and the yellow one. Oh, the yellow one. Oh, at the concert? Hmm. Total bluff. There's no way they're going to do a speedy trial. Absolutely not. Thanks for giving updates. Tired of losing. Oh, what's an ad? It was announced today that David parked the Tesla on July 29th. You lied and said it wasn't David. All you did was confuse everybody in this case. Listen, SF can only do what he can do. So everyone chill out. Everyone chill out on SF Investigates. He has done an amazing job, even if he was wrong about one date. Or maybe not. We don't know. He also was subpoenaed. So I'm sure he can only say so much. And that's why he was very open in that interview, right? With Gideon. Let us know this label got their hands deep in the case. He does have one of the best lawyers that in LA he can get. This is the least shocking thing I've ever heard of. Thought so. Thought David wasn't the last person to drive the car. Someone says you sound upset. Oh man. Nerdy says the DA's claims and motion that David allegedly ordered chainsaws, a burn cage, a shovel, and body bags to his home in effort to dispose of Celeste's body. Prosecutors allege the singer met Celeste when she was just 11 years old. You're fine, Evie. You just got right here. You just got right on time. You just got. It's hump day. We're supposed to be partying tonight. I'm going to do an after dark where I hang out after this. So definitely make sure you're subscribed either here or the second channel. But anyways, this is Celeste as a child. Yes, David did groom her. Yes, he did get online, lure her, groom her, abused her sexually, mentally, emotionally, and then stabbed her to death and then dismembered her. I hate to be so brutal, but that's exactly what happened. It's really messed up. Really messed up. R.I.P. Celeste. Okay, let's see. Did I miss anything? Although David's legal team has not filed a motion to unseal the search warrants, they did file two motions they consider important. First, they requested that David be allowed to wear civilian clothing for the preliminary hearing instead of a jailed-issue jumpsuit. That motion was denied. Second, they requested that he be allowed to receive a haircut prior to the preliminary hearing. And lied about it, exactly. Okay, I think it's time we get into these documents. I just kind of wanted to run. Actually, let's make sure we do our usual. I'm gonna pull up the Reddits. And then we'll get into the document. Please make sure you guys are hitting the like button. YouTube does ask us to do that to push us into the algorithm. Once she spoke up when he decided to get rid of her, but he going to get what's coming to him. I hope so. What haircut he asked for, I don't know. Thank you, Claudia. Okay, so let's get into this. We've been in a deep rabbit hole. I have a live coming up about some of this stuff that David could have had to been involved in, like cult-like anime stuff. He had 2 red Tesla. Do y'all think that Tesla captured something? The DEA got actual dates and everything. Yes, could be. Either the Tesla or surveillance footage. David was the last person to drive the Tesla before the body was found in the trunk. David used a chainsaw to dismember Celeste. This is what we're getting into tonight. He used a chainsaw. I do. I do believe it's a cult thing. I do. I've gone down the rabbit hole. Someone save me. I'm serious. You get sucked in. I'm falling asleep to information about this and cults and demons. David used chainsaw to dismember Celeste in his garage. That's wild. Let's see what people are saying, actually. I'm curious. Discussing the new alleged details have emerged in laying out exactly how prosecutors were able to charge David Anthony Burke with the murder of Celeste Rivas. According to legal documents obtained by the California Post, investigators say the singer, real name David Burke, ordered an Uber to deliver Rivas from her home. We're going to get into those documents. But hello, who else got an Uber to her death? 𝗠𝗲𝗿𝗀𝗆𝗆𝗍𝗍𝗍. Yes, so, old days, that's what I'm talking about. We're gonna do a live on that. Hello? This case has 54 warrants. Most cases have 3 or 4 max. This is bigger than just one man. Absolutely. 𝗠𝗲𝗆𝗍𝗍𝗍 also got lured. Well, she can get lured, but allegedly an Uber dropped her off. And then she went missing. In Lake Elsinore to his Hollywood Hills home on the night of April 23rd. He then allegedly stabbed her to death and stood by while she bled out. Remember the anime video that we saw that I was like, he's talking about bleeding out and the arms were missing? Yes. I think we're spot on with the whole David our David theory here. I'm shook. I cannot believe it. Let's revisit this video that we watched the other day when he talks about bleeding out. Oh. Hold on. That's not what you want to see. But that is something we're going to cover. You're like, this has nothing to do with David. But it does. Why? Why are you doing this, YouTube? Ugh. Is it just you guys, or have they been like slacking? Or is it just me? My internet. Okay.
But that's not the reason I took a liking to it. You see, when a human being is drained of all of its blood, it becomes pale, lifeless, just as the rose, visually appealing, only good to observe and admire. But the moment you go to pick it up, you get stabbed. But I, or should I say a separate part of me, indulges himself in the thorns, dousing himself in the blood of his own negligence without even vetting the misleading beauty. Wearing a blindfold only to escape his self-made hell, accountable only to pain. I have placed this part of me throughout this project in different areas of melody, lyrics, and delivery. You'll feel it when you get there. Follow me now through this journey of holding a rose petal by petal until they fall short. And I have no choice but to catch it by the thorns.
I am shook by that video. Hi, Lala. Good to see you, love. With the documents, we're gonna get the details that we're gonna get right now. I can't get over it. I really can't. And he dismembered her with a chainsaw. Can you guys see the screen? Okay, I just want to make sure. Thank you, Psycho. Good to see you, love. He thinks that he's in a hotel or going to the Grammys. He stabbed her to death and stood by while she bled out. The next day, David allegedly ordered a shovel from Home Depot from Postmates that was delivered to his home. A shovel? And he was going to dismember her? Postmates, from Postmates that was delivered to his home. On May 1st, he allegedly ordered 2 chainsaws from Amazon that were delivered to his home. On May 5th, when he allegedly dismembered her, he ordered a body bag, heavy-duty laundry bags, and a blue inflatable pool. You guys, this is insane. This is insane. This is absolutely insane. Hello, Knox. Yes, it is crazy. I cannot believe this is a real life case. I cannot believe it. I cannot believe it. Am I the only one freaking out? Maybe I'm just crazy and I'm in my head. I've just been diving deep into all of this and David and the anime and the bloody gore. I can't get out of it. This is insane. They have proof that he did all of this. He ordered 2 chainsaws from Amazon. And the day he dismembered her, he ordered that body bag that I've showed you guys on here. It's so much worse than I thought. I sat there. I might even have some lives where I was talking shit. I was like, listen, the police haven't arrested anyone. They haven't done anything. Like, what's going on? I even stopped covering it because for a minute I was a little bit frustrated. I'm like, listen, it's like the Sebastian Rogers case and the Summer Wells. People are missing. What do you mean you can find these cartel people, terrorists, but you can't find a child? And so my frustration with those cases, but nonetheless, so with this case, I was like, you know what? I don't know what else. Like what else are we gonna cover? We don't know anything else. They found the body. He's not being arrested. I kind of did think that nothing was happening. And after this information, I'm just thinking how dark it is. He cut up a human like Dexter. This is a body bag he bought. At least the one I think he did. It matches the number of handles and whatnot. It's worse than I thought, and I don't think anyone else is involved. I'm starting to believe, but many people knew the relationship. Yeah, that's a whole nother thing, right? If you see something, say something. I was praying it was an OD. No, it makes me feel sick too. No, it's gruesome and how someone can look so normal and be so evil. It's just, and she's just a kid, you know? Let's finish this and then we'll move on to the article, to the documents. He allegedly made the purchase under a fake name of Victoria Mendez. Oh, no, they didn't. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Which then he tried to cover his tracks by using that stuff in his you guys. What? No way. Obviously, they have this information. David tried to play it off like he was Victoria Mendez. No, I can't get over it. I can't get over it. What the hell? From there, investigators say David took horrifying measures to destroy and discard the victim's body. Oh my God. David allegedly placed Rivas's body in a blue inflatable pool to prevent her blood from making a mess on his garage floor. Oh, no. Remember, I was like, where's all the blood? I even said he drank it. This is crazy. He allegedly placed Celeste's body in a blue inflatable pool to prevent her blood from making a mess on his garage floor and used a chainsaw and perhaps other tools to cut off her limbs. What? Burke allegedly amputated Rivas's left finger and pinky fingers because her ring finger contained a tattoo of his name. Those fingers were never recovered. Investigators served a search warrant at Burke's home in September of 2025, where they allegedly discovered evidence consistent with dismemberment of the victim's body in the inflatable pool, which contained multiple linear cuts. Several biological samples, which tested positive for blood, were collected within the garage area. There's also sickening details about how Burke and Rivas allegedly met when she was 11 years old in January of 2022. Investigators say the two then began having a sexual relationship in November of 2023. When he was 13 and she was 13 and he was 18. They found her DNA in his fucking house, is what this means. Investigators say the DNA matched that of Celeste. No. Oh my goodness. I'm screaming. I've just been following this case from the beginning, so this is like a big deal to me. This is crazy. They did find blood inside the garage. He used a blue kiddie pool, the same one found at the Texas farm. So he had something similar at his parents' house. Why am I not surprised? David's Tesla footage, blue board, last parking spot. Oh, let me hit play. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. I can't get over this. David's Tesla was parked as a way to hide the car. This is where it was parked. Oh my goodness. All we do is have sex and hang out. Ooh, this is in the documents we're reading right now. Wendy says Matthew, Celeste's brother, is anger and out for revenge. Celeste returned home in May of 2024 for a Holy Communion family gathering, and it seems likely that this was the new phone she received so she could be in contact with David. Mm, this is actually crazy. April 25th. So that is, she was killed on the 23rd. So 2 days later. This is David. David and his chainsaw left clues behind. The image on his shirt, he really did not think she was going to be found at this point in this time of his career. Yet, the beginning of his trail would soon follow him, all the way to charges from surveillance video, text messages, social media posts, his songs, the lyrics, as well as the graphics in the videos, as well as the art displayed in his work. Then you have Tesla data, photographs, Amazon deliveries, and DNA evidence found in David's garage that link him to the murder of a 14-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez. He would then go on to purchase not one, but two chainsaws, a burn cage, a body bag, heavy duty laundry bags, as well as a shovel. He was able to conceal her body in the front of his Tesla for months before going on tour. Now, what was he going to do? He thought he would have time between tour venues to finish what he started. Time ran out, the secret was exposed, and now he will have to pay for what he did. I doubt this was done all by himself, the hiding of her body and dismemberment. Maybe he did it by himself, but he had too many people around all the time not to have had someone either participate or help afterwards. Okay, this picture of this shirt is actually kind of odd. Let's zoom in. There's like a girl on his shirt. I think someone mentioned this earlier. Do you guys see that? This is like a body or a girl right here. And then right here too. It kind of looks like Celeste, but she has like tape over her eyes. Was he flaunting it? Oh my goodness. This is absolutely insane. Wow.
In the evidence are text messages that this
Confirming Celeste was pregnant at some point. And remember, you guys, I said this on the last live even. I said we might not know if she was pregnant or not. She was a minor. Recovered tests between Burke and Rivas contain references to sex, pregnancy, abortion, and the use of Plan B. Burke and Rivas also exchanged explicit photographs documenting and corroborating their sexual relationship. I am wow. Wow, wow, wow. I can't. This is crazy. And this is only getting crazier as we get into this case. I'm going to play a clip before we get into the documents. Shout out to you guys for being here. Please make sure you guys hit the like button. I want to watch a little bit of this clip and then we're going to get into the documents. This is where he talks with Celeste about
Can we delete all VODs? And then as soon as the stream ends, delete the stream too? Can we delete anything? You done for, bro? Y'all are not done? Now you going to Epstein? Yo, wait.
Oh, look it. Answer that one. That's so mean if you don't answer
Which
that.
one? What's good, David? Big fan, big spam. Bro, thank you, 𝗠𝗲𝗹𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆
controversial.
It's controversial of kids.
Really good.
Okay,
It's been a good one. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Mwah, 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 mwah. Oh my! Delete everything. Delete everything. Everything goes.
At this point, we all know what is going on. David is front and center in the investigation involving a teenage girl who was found unalived in his car recently. And right now, there has been discovered a strong connection between him and the girl, the matching tattoos, the lyrics, the relationship they shared, and all the things that the internet is discovering. But in this video specifically, we're going to look at some of the creepiest videos of David that are now resurfacing and incriminating him even more. So the videos include...
Okay. Let's get into these documents. Oh my goodness. Here we go. Oh, I've been dying to read these. We were supposed to be covering Laura Owens, but here we are. Okay. People's brief regarding preliminary hearing evidence today. Insane. These documents are so sad. Do you guys already hear them? Jeez, who had them out? I got them like right away, so I'm like shocked that they were out before I... Was it on TMZ? The Honorable Judge, okay. Preliminary hearing scheduled on May 1st. I thought that got moved. Background facts. The dismembered body of 14-year-old Celeste was discovered in the front of the trunk of the defendant's Tesla Model X on September 8th, 2025. The vehicle had been towed 3 days prior from 1405 Bluebird Avenue, which was parked approximately 400 feet from the defendant's home at 1368 Doheny Place. Surveillance video and other evidence confirmed that the defendant was the last person to drive the vehicle on July 29th before he left for tour. No. What? Okay, so I'm stuck. Did he think that... What did he think? That he was just going to leave the he was going to leave it parked, not report... He didn't report it stolen because he didn't mean to leave it for that long? This is crazy. He was the last one in that car. So he went on tour and he was thinking, okay, I'll come back and finish what I started. And he really didn't get to. On September 8th, 2025, the manager of the tow yard where the Tesla had been impounded noted the strong smell of decay and the presence of flies coming from the vehicle. He notified LAPD Hollywood auto detectives who determined that the Tesla was registered to the defendant through departmental resources. At the tow yard, LAPD detectives opened the Tesla's front storage compartment and observed a black cadaver bag covered in insects. Okay, I'm starting to freak out. Remember how, not yesterday, but the last live that we did, we were talking about where was that body from April 23rd to May 5th. I think that body was in his car or in his room, in his house. Remember, the autopsy said there was insects, their egg, they were growing on her body. That's how bad it was. And remember they said that her body was waterlogged. What exactly does that mean? Because we did need to cover this. Was she in the shower? What is waterlogged on a decomposing? This is just absolutely insane. A waterlogged decomposing body, often called a bloated earth floater, is a body saturated with water, causing the tissues to become soft, pale, and soggy, and the abdomen to bloat due to bacterial gas accumulation. This process increases buoyancy, causing the body to rise to the surface of the water. So he had her in water in the garage when he dismembered her. Not in the shower. That's where he had her, the kiddie pool. So basically there's like anaerobic bacteria, things that, produce gases such as like methane, hydrogen, and that fills the body cavities, which decreases the density and it makes the body float. But she was in that little pool in his garage. The skin becomes pale, browny, wrinkled, skin slippage, which is called waterlogged. That's why they couldn't tell her by her fingerprints. They needed to do it by her teeth, the dental. Inside the bag, they discovered a severely decomposed head and torso. A plastic garbage bag beneath the black cadaver body contained the dismembered arms and legs. I need to dissect this. He was the last person to drive the vehicle on July 29th. So nobody helped him. It was just him. Maybe people knew. Now, was there people complicit in her abuse of a minor? Yes. Yes, we've already established that. But this whole body dismembering, I really think if there was others involved, they would be arrested. Maybe not. The manager of the tow yard where the Tesla had been impounded noted the strong smell of decay and the presence of flies coming from the vehicle. He notified LAPD Hollywood auto detectives who determined the Tesla was registered to David. At the tow yard, detectives opened the Tesla's front storage compartment and observed a black cadaver bag covered in insects. He was obsessed. I think he was okay being with her dead body. Was there water near the house? Or like, no, I think remember when I said, is this Dexter? Like, where's the blood? Did he drink it? Remember when I said that in the last live? He drained her body in that pool or something, right? That's what that means. I think that Celeste lived a brutal death. Went out with a brutal death. I'm so disgusted. And I'm just like stuck on this video. Let me share. I know you're gonna. Why are you obsessed with this?
But that's not the reason I took a liking to it. You see, when a human being is drained of all of its blood, it becomes pale, lifeless, just as the rose, visually appealing, only good to observe and admire. But the moment you go to pick it up, you get stabbed. But I, or should I say a separate part of me, indulges himself in the thorns, dousing himself in the blood of his own negligence without even vetting the misleading beauty. Wearing a blindfold only to escape his self-made hell, accountable only to pain. I have placed this part of me throughout this project in different areas of melody, lyrics, and delivery. You'll feel it when you get there. Follow me now through this journey of holding a rose petal by petal until they fall short. And I have no choice but to catch it by the thorns.
So do you guys think he did have, the alter ego mental health issue? Which can make him a killer, right? But he could also just be an evil killer. Let's get back to this document. Inside the body bag, they discovered a severely decomposed head and torso. A plastic garbage bag beneath the black cadaver bag contained the dismembered arms and legs. However, the victim's pinky ring and fingers on her left hand had been amputated and were not found in the 𝗟𝗲. Yeah, Shorty, you're right. At this point, I could care less if you had someone. Yeah, no, I'm not excusing it. I'm just saying, like, my thing is his family knew how dark he was. People around him knew. And that's what I'm getting at is like, listen, at this point, y'all need to be charged. Y'all need to be charged for being accomplices or complicit or whatever the fuck they call that in the legal system, including the manager. Where's her fingers? Because remember, we covered the 𝗏𝗏𝗵, how he has that alter ego. And in the 𝗏𝗏𝗵 anime, remember the fingers are like a representation of like power. Was it power that it was? I can't remember when we were reading about the episodes. But in that let me see if I can pull up a picture. In that anime, the wife is missing her limbs. So it was MDP Psycho. I think that David was really living through his through the anime. I know there's that picture that we saw with the missing limbs. I've done it. I've gone off the deep end with this case. Sometimes I feel like, am I just making things up in my head now that it seem crazy? I'll have to find that picture later. Where the hell are her fingers? On September 16th, 2025, the Los Angeles County Medical Examiner's Department positively identified the body from dental records as belonging to the victim. Pursuant to their investigation, LAPD robbery homicide detectives determined the victim and defendant met in January of 2022 when she was 11 years old. Oh my God, we were right on that. We're saying if they met on Fortnite and not Discord, it would have made her 10 or 11 years old. Because remember, we think they met on Fortnite, not Discord. Although I think it's been said it was Discord. Nah, I think she got brought over to Discord by the people she met gaming. I think they brought her over to the Discord. Oh, thanks, Shorty. Been watching you for a while. I appreciate that. They began a sexual relationship in November of 2023. Now I'm going to be stuck going through all of that footage from 2023. When the victim was just 13 years old. So they met in January of 2022 when she was 11. They began a sexual relationship in November of 2023 when she was just 13 years old and the defendant was 18. What's crazy is like my nephews are obsessed with this right now. They're obsessed. They're obsessed with the Roblox. Like, it's stressful. Detectives learned that the victim who had been reported missing to the Riverside County Sheriff's Department by her family who live in Lake Elsinore in February and April of 2024. So the Riverside County Sheriff's Department telephonically contacted the defendant on February 17th, 2024. So if he claims he didn't know about her being a minor, he definitely knew after February 17, 2024. So basically what they're stating here is there's no way you're getting out of it. They called you. They telephonically contacted defendant on February 17, 2024 after they identified a phone number in the victim's phone records that belonged to him. So I'm wondering if he had been reported. She had been running away. Law enforcement knew that she was seeing him. They identified a phone number in the victim's phone records that belonged to him. Well, I think the timing here makes a difference. When did you go in her phone records? Back in 2024 or now? Why does that matter? I think it matters because if they had already done all of this and they had wiretapped him, so then he would have been reported, right? Right? Because it sounds like they already knew about him here. It says the River County Sheriff's Department telephonically contacted him on April 17, 2024. So they knew of him somehow, whether he was involved with Celeste or somebody else. After they identified a phone number in the victim's phone records. Well, I want to know when that was identified. You mean when she was found dead or back in the day? Like, did you pull the Celebrite data and she was in his phone records back in 2024? Because then, yes, he knew and there was an ongoing relationship. But I don't know if they mean like they found him now. During the call, the defendant claimed he had spoken to the victim last on February 13th or 14th, 2024. He said that the last time he spoke to her was on February 13th, 2024. Oh my God. But he stated he was unaware she was a minor or that she had been reported missing. Holy shit. So like she was found on what? So he killed her April 23rd, 2025. Dismembered her May 5th, 2025. He claims he last spoke with her in 2024. So from February 13th or 14th of 2024 to when she was killed, April 23rd, 2025. That's like a little over a year what the hell happened in that year. I bet there's so much shit too. That's where the 40 terabytes, because remember, the 40 terabytes isn't just the child abuse sex material. It's terabytes, meaning all his social medias and stuff. So I'm wondering. They contacted him on February 17th after they identified phone number in the victim's phone records. During the call, the defendant claimed he had last spoken to the victim on February 13th of 2024, but stated he was unaware that she was a minor. The Riverside Sheriff's Department advised him that the LASD deputies would be coming to his home. Oh, shit. So he knew too. So if he did all this bullshit with his music and all of this stuff, he knew that they were onto him, or he had to at least thought it from February 13th or 14th of 2024. Deputies are coming to your house. You're getting calls. She's missing. It started all the way back then. And there's no getting out of it. There's absolutely no getting out of it. And we already knew this, but like to get it in paperwork, we didn't know this. We've just been assuming things, you guys, until this all came to light and we've been covering the David case. For 7 months, we didn't know what the hell was going on. He probably saved her fingers somewhere. Do you think the ring he had on in that one interview was the one he gave her? Yes, psycho. I do think that's possible. The blow-up swimming pool was for the dismemberment blood draining. Yes. Remember I said, what did they do with all the blood? Did they drink it? And I was just being a little bit dark. But that's not dark. And when you think about cults and stuff, and if you're educated on that, which we're gonna be, because I've gone deep. I've gone deep down the rabbit hole. Please save me, someone. I think David was like a cult like type behavior. On that day, defendant was living at 804 and Doheny Place in West Hollywood. After the Epstein files, when he left for 2 weeks, I heard he put her in the tub. Yeah. I think her body was sitting in that tub. And that's where like the skin slippage waterlogged. You guys, that's brutal. I know we watch a lot of crime, a lot of Dexter. I'm obsessed with Dexter. This is like a case where Dexter, if he was real, I would absolutely be like, take him out. Take David out. You have to think like what was actually happening, right? In a scientific perspective. Like her skin is falling off of her body. Like that's how long it had been soaked, and insects were eating her body. Can you just think about that? Like there was larvae, they were multiplying on her body. I hate to sound so like brutal, but because that's what it is. I know we have to like cover the words for YouTube or whatever, or censor them, but it's like, dude, there's no way around it. It's fucking brutal what she went through. He stabbed her, watched her bleed to death, drains her body, dismembers her body. Where's her fingers? And then pretends like nothing even happened. And he's over here making love songs. It's sick. Our CSD requested that LASD conduct a welfare check at the defendant's home. Welfare checks in 2024. Dude, this is crazy. LASD deputies went to defendant's home that night at 8:15 p.m. and informed him that the victim was a 13-year-old runaway. David, there is no out of it. There's no way you liked children. You liked to rape children. You liked young girls, and it is what it is. It's the truth. And that's exactly what was happening. I know YouTube doesn't like that. They probably will demonetize me. Who knows? Who knows? It's exactly what happened. You lured her to your home. This isn't a crime of passion. You know, when they say like, oh, the defense team might try to play like a crime of passion. No, this is not a crime of passion. This is not a crime of passion. You literally bought supplies to get rid of her body. Like, it's insane. I might be the only one. You guys are like, dude, this girl's drama. But no, seriously. She was a 13-year-old runaway. Defendant again claimed he was unaware she was a minor and had only met the victim once in person in November 2023. Well, now I'm going to go down that rabbit hole and find all the posts from 2023 because I want to know you were already lying. However, the defendant showed deputies a yearbook photo of the victim he had on his cell phone. Excuse me? You have her yearbook photo? What kind of predator? I can't. I was just as mad reading this document. No, I'm like freaking out about the case in general. I'm just like, I've gone off the deep end. Two things can be true at the same time, and it's okay that you're drama. You like that, don't you, for celebrities? Only evil and demonic people. What is it? I am too. I can't believe this, right? Okay, I know I'm not being dramatic then. Although he claimed to be unaware of where the victim was at the time, she returned home 2 days later. Who's typing this for the defense? I need to know. She returned home 2 days later, meaning that her family knew and was aware. Great. Yes. Thank you. What we have been saying this whole time is absolutely right. Her family was aware. I get it. People are saying, don't be nasty towards her family. They're suffering with the grief in the death of Celeste. Actually, no. You can hate me if you want, but I'm going to be the one to say it. Absolutely fucking not. They knew what was going on. They knew he was older and you allowed it. Like, I am sorry that you allowed it. I'm sorry that you were maybe being paid off or you were maybe confused. Maybe you didn't know how to deal with a rebel. That is only your problem and not ours. And for that, I'm sorry. If people want to hate me for it and say that I'm a bully, oh my God, you're victim blaming. Yes, I am. Yes, I absolutely fucking am. Why am I going to sit up here and pretend like you knew she was running away and you knew who she was with and you had met him? Period. And that goes for everyone on his team, not just her family. It goes for his family, his manager, his disgusting friends who are somewhat like, I don't know, online people on Twitch or whatever, gaming. Okay, fine. I'm obsessed with true crime. They're obsessed with gaming. Like, I don't know where people are putting their money at, but definitely is not going to be with those people on Kick or Twitch. Absolutely not. Despite being informed law enforcement, the victim was only 13. Defendant continued to pursue her. After the victim returned home in February of 2024, her parents took her cell phone away. Am I being punked? I feel like this is a bad joke. Yes, the parents should be held accountable. You took her cell phone away. Really? But you knew she was having sex with someone that was older. I had to drink reading this document. So he immediately became obsessed and wanted her. Defendant drove to Lake Elsinore and paid a junior high school student in the victim's class $1,000 to give the victim a cell phone that the defendant purchased so they could stay in contact. Excuse me? So the picture that we saw, you were really paying someone off. Someone save me. Someone, please. I wish I would have read this before I came on live. I might not have such a dramatic reaction. The evidence showed mom did everything she could. This guy was too much for her. Dude, no. No, no, no. No, because I was a crazy teen. I was running away and I had a perfect home life. And my parent, there's no way. It might be the resources, but there's absolutely no way. Absolutely no way. You cannot give up on your children like this, especially not when we're living in a demonic world. Look at where we are at in the world. No way. No way. No way. No fucking way. They turned the other way. And I get it. I come from a Hispanic family. I come from a background, a culture where rape and crime and it's not very easy to talk about in your home. Like, it's really not. I'll speak firsthand, wholeheartedly. English was my second language. Like, I have problems with this. And maybe I am taking the David case and the Celeste Rivas case too personal, but like, absolutely not. You're paying off students and teachers knew. And I know the system is flawed. It's not just parents and people. It's the system as well, especially the CPS system. So this is where probably the financial gain comes in play. Throughout 2024, the victim spent a significant amount of time with defendant, including summer weekends at his home in Hollywood Hills and traveling with him to Las Vegas, London, and Texas to meet his family. And then here's my other rant, a Melly rant. Arrest his family, 𝗲𝗺, Burke, whatever his mom's name is. They knew also you deserve to be in jail. I don't know what else to fucking say. You all deserve to be in jail. And all the money that David is making and whatever is making money off of him, that needs to be given in restitution. I'm absolutely done with these people. I'm done with these people. His parents didn't want to show up to testify in the grand jury. And now, and we know that she met them. They knew she was a minor. You are also complicit. I don't care. I don't care what the circumstances are. If a child is involved, we do not allow sex crimes here at Melly's channel. We do not. Absolutely not. We draw the line. Children, absolutely, absolutely not. I cannot get behind it. Rape, abuse, family, I cannot get behind any of it against children. I cannot. So they all deserve to be in jail. Text exchange between the victim and defendant contain references to sex, pregnancy, abortion. So remember when I kept saying she had to have been pregnant at some time? I was right. My hunch was always right. I always said she was pregnant. When they said that she wasn't, I said that doesn't mean she hasn't been. This is a thing. This is a thing with child abuse cases and situations. She had to have been pregnant or at least scared of it. And these documents prove it. They absolutely prove it. No, you're reacting like we all did. Dude, I'm like an adult now, and even still now, I'm really close to my parents and I hold that close to my heart. If I was involved with someone that was not a good person, they would do what they could to get me away from that person. Absolutely. Even if it's a threat, I would never want to cut off ties with my family for a person or a situation. So maybe everyone has a different experience. Maybe I'm blessed. A lot of us have that support system, but like, absolutely not. Especially a teenager and a child. Like I can't imagine. I can't imagine. Text exchanges between the victim and the defendant contain references to sex, pregnancy, abortion, and the use of Plan B emergency contraceptive. There are also explicit photographs documenting and corroborating their sexual relationship. In November of 2024, defendant and the victim broke up. Although they continued to communicate, the text messages suggest they also continued to have sexual relations. Wow. Am I too old for your parents to adopt me? No, you can come. You can come. They'll take you in. They will. They'll absolutely take you in. So they broke up. They broke up, but they continued to have sex. Oh my goodness. And is this sex on the 40 terabytes of data that they found? Because you guys know that has been my hunch. I have been on a hunch that I think David was recording them as he was having sex with Celeste and abusing her. I think it was recorded. I do think it is. People, the dark web, if you're not into that kind of stuff, you're not probably aware and you don't know. But for those who do like study it like me, especially me on the I have gone off the deep end with like the dark web and cults because of this David case. And so like I'm just in a very dark place right now. So bear with me here if I sound like a little bit of I'm being dramatic. I think he was recording a lot of this. Is that weird? I think that the sick perverts do that, like Stephen Stearns. April 23rd, 2025 is likely the date of the victim's death and when all her cellular activity ceased. The night prior, April 22nd, 2025, defendant and the victim engaged in a lengthy argument described in detail in their text messages. So they were fighting the night before he killed her. OMG. The messages reveal the victim's jealousy over the defendant's relationships with other women, as defendants led her to believe they had a future together. Oh. Everyone, take a deep breath. The messages reveal the victim's jealousy over defendant's relationship with other women, as defendant led her to believe they had a future together. She became extremely upset and threatened to disclose damaging information about her relationship with the defendant to end his career and destroy his life. I cannot. They were fighting and she was like, "Nuh-uh, you're not going to have all these other women." And she already been knowing. And they were fighting and she was like, "I'm gonna tell on you," because she didn't know anything better. She had been groomed by this man. She thought David was her end all be all, I'm sure. She pushed him too far. He snapped. It's a sad, cruel. Yes. She was like, "If you don't love me, then I'm done with you." Do we blame Celeste? No, we do not. Women, even older, think like that. I think you know what I thought? You know what I think? What I thought. I think that Celeste figured out David sooner than he thought she was going to figure him out. I think that she was like, whatever relationship they had, whether she looked in his phone or not, I think that she knew. I think she learned his behaviors and I think she's seen things and I think she was like, "Listen, I'm not going to be allowing this anymore if you're not keeping it real with me and I'm telling on you. Like, I'm turning you in. You are actually what I thought you always were." And now that she was growing up and being an adult, she finally realized that it was rape and grooming, and that's exactly what it was. There's no other way around it. I'm sick of saying like graping. Like, no, it's actually a fucking thing. Like, YouTube. Sorry. I'll probably be demonetized after this. I will be demonetized if I'm not here anymore. You know why. She became extremely upset and threatened to disclose damaging information about her relationship with the defendant to end his career and destroy his life. Defendant's first studio album was due to be released April 25th, 2025. He had an emerging multi-million-dollar career already in progress. He also had multiple endorsements, which were highly profitable. At approximately 8:40, oh my God, they even have the time. On April 23rd, 2025, defendant sent an Uber to transport the victim from her Lake Elsinore home. So is this one of the times she ran away? Parents of Celeste? I'm sorry. Did you think she was running away? Or did you just think she was going out to the movies? Or what did you think? She was going to the Hello Kitty store? The Sanrio store? Like, I want to fucking know what was going on here. Defendant sent an Uber to transport the victim from her Lake Elsinore home to this residence. They communicated before and during her Uber ride, which dropped her off at a defendant's Hollywood home around 10:10 p.m. At approximately 10:30 p.m., the defendant sent text messages to the victim inquiring where she was. The people contend this was part of the defendant's premeditated plan to cover up the murder, as she was already dead by this time. Oh, no. So after he killed her, he was texting her, like, where are you? Like, where are you, boo? Where are you? You were coming over. No, little did we know she was already stabbed. Her liver was already punctured. She was already internally bleeding out. Whether she was bleeding on the outside or not, internally she was done for. She was bleeding out. The liver, boom, you're done. I can't do this. This is crazy. Where were her parents on April 23rd at 8:40 p.m.? Where did you think she was? What does your Celebrite data information look like? I'm curious now. I want to know what was going on. Knowing he had to silence the victim before she ruined his music career as she had threatened. Very soon after her arrival at this home, the defendant stabbed the victim to death multiple times and stood by while she bled out. Will I recover from this? I don't know. Send the ambulance. What? I will not recover from this document. I have so many questions. He watched her bleed out. I've been on replay on that video for a reason. When did he make that video about bleeding out? I'm curious now. Now I'm micromanaging everything because that is a trip. So that video was a lot sooner, a lot earlier than her death. Which still proves he had already known her. He stood by while she bled out. That's why it is alleged from the first hearing that she suffered. Oh my goodness. At no time did he call law enforcement or 911 or take her to the emergency room to attempt to save her life. Dude. This is crazy. I bet David D4vd thought when he got arrested, he's thinking, oh, they got shit on me. Despite knowing she was dead and her family was trying to find her, the evidence will show the defendant lied and claimed he didn't know where she was. In fact, the defendant drove to Santa Barbara County immediately after the victim died. So the Santa Barbara trip was real. Oh my gosh, so many of us were right about so many things. I think Celeste was pregnant numerous times before her death. I think that she had had abortions from David. I do. I've always thought that. We know that something happened on that Santa Barbara trip. This is actually insane. Defendant drove to Santa Barbara immediately after the victim died, attempting to dispose of her property and destroy evidence. Not the fingers being in Santa Barbara. Where are her fingers? Where are her fingers? I've followed many cases, but this one takes the cake for me. Oh, Mal, yeah, you've missed. Mal, just get ready for me talking a lot of shit, if you know what I mean. I've been having, I didn't read these before coming on live, and I apologize because some of you are probably like, shut up and just read it. But like this is like a real reaction. Like I hadn't read all of them. I got them and I was like, okay. I read one page and I was like, done, Kate. It's a done deal. We need to go and read this together. Where are her fingers? At approximately 11:30 p.m. on April 23rd, 2025, he drove from his home as he texted and called the victim's phone asking where she was. No. It's like giving Idaho 4/corruption. Again, these were acts calculated and planned to set up his defense within a very short timeline after the victim's vicious murder. Defendant drove his Tesla north on 101 freeway to San Marcos Pass Road near Lake 𝗪𝗪 in Santa Barbara County. He returned home early the following morning on April 24th. Oh my God. So he went and got rid of her fingers somewhere. He returned home early the following morning on April 24th, 2025, before going to a radio interview for the release of his album. He sent 2 additional texts to the victim's phone that day, which obviously went unanswered because she was already dead. Which text? I'm dying to see these texts in trial. I want to know what they said. I was thinking of Idaho 4 too. Where's the blood from her finger cuts? In the pool. In the pool. I think he drained her body in the pool, the inflatable pool, and then disposed of that water. After April 26, 2025, the defendant never attempted to contact her again. Oh my goodness. And then he had her body for 10 days before he dismembered her. And then he chops her up. Like she's a fucking piece of chicken. I just can't get over this. Tellingly, defendant subsequently purchased tools to carry out his plot to dismember and dispose of the victim's body. On April 24th, 2025, the defendant ordered a shovel from Home Depot that was delivered from his Postmates. On May 1st, 2025, defendant ordered a subsequent Amazon delivered 2 chainsaws to his home. On May 5th, 2025, defendant ordered and Amazon subsequently delivered a body bag, heavy-duty laundry bags, and a blue inflatable pool to his home. He made these purchases under the fake name Victoria Mendez. This part gets me here. Okay, so he kills her on April 23rd. On the 24th, he's panicking. He's like, oh shit, I need to get rid of her. I need to bury her. So he orders a shovel from Home Depot. And then he's like, no, I can't do that. Probably leaves her body draining somewhere, somehow, intact. On May 1st, he's like, I know I have to chop her up and get rid of her. So he orders 2 chainsaws. He's panicking. He's like, fuck, I need to chop her up, feed her to the pigs. I don't know, do something with her remains. He orders the 2 chainsaws. And then on May 5th, he's like, okay, this is it. I'm getting ready to go on tour. I need to chop her up. I need to get rid of her. Chops her up. Puts her in a body bag. Puts her in the inflatable pool. Until we don't know when. Right? And then she ends up in the trunk. He made these purchases under the fake name Victoria Mendez. Listen, David, you are not Victoria Mendez. On May 8th, 2025. So that is 3 days after he allegedly dismembered her. The defendant returns to the same area in Santa Barbara County, leaving his home around 11:30 p.m. He returned to the area again on May 31st. So he goes back to the crime scene or to the area. No. How many times do we see this in true crime? Especially Bryan Kohberger. I'm dying. All while writing and producing music. Yeah, Victoria Mendez. Our singing is awful. It sounds that the bugs ate them, but I was later told that there was cuts where the eye was taken out. This is an isolated site off SR 154 where the victim's identification was subsequently discovered. What? What does that mean? Wait, on May 8th, 2025, defendant returned to the same area in Santa Barbara County, leaving his home around 11:30 p.m. He returned to the area again on May 31st. So he went back for something. Wait, so he went to dispose of something in Santa Barbara County. Wherever he disposed of her, he went back. He was getting rid of her stuff. He kept going back to where she was found. Oh my goodness. I can't believe this. He kept going back. This is an isolated site off SR 154 where the victim's identification. Additionally, on July 7th, 2025, the defendant ordered and subsequently Amazon delivered a burn cage. So he was like, I'm going to burn her remains. to his home under the fake name as part of his plan to incinerate evidence. Oh my God. So it was never a female. It was Victoria Mendez. We were like thinking in the last live who accepted the delivery of the burn cage. Well, it was Victoria Mendez. I'm like I'm like at a loss for words. We already knew he had the burn cage. I think he didn't know what to do once the body started to smell. I just can't believe all of this. Moreover, the defendant took horrifying measures to destroy and discard the victim's body. Like, Celeste is not resting in peace. Her soul is not resting in peace. I just want everyone to know that. Like, she is not living in peace. Her body was dismembered. He was treating her body like it was nothing for days. Do you know how horrible that is? It's so disturbing. After placing her body into the blue inflatable pool to prevent her blood from spilling onto his garage floor, defendant used a chainsaw and perhaps other tools to cut off her limbs. What? He drained her body in a blue inflatable pool. Where did that water get? Where is that, like in his yard? He used a chainsaw. Wow. I guess I was expecting like the knife in those pictures we've seen. But I guess it's more horrifying to think that it was a chainsaw. Small blue plastic fragments were found embedded in the victim's remains, which were collected by the medical examiner's department. The fragments were analyzed by LAPD's Forensic Science Division. An expert was able to make a physical fit match from the blue fragments to the blue inflatable pool purchased by the defendant in May. No. He drained her in the pool, dumps the water, and then what? Try to wrap her up in it or cut her up in with the blue inflatable pool? In order to distance himself from the victim, he amputated her left ring and pinky fingers because her ring finger contained a tattoo of his name. Mm-mm. Nope, I can't get over this. I can't get over this. Nope, I can't. I can't. Moreover, the defendant took horrifying measures to destroy and discard the victim's body after placing her body in the blue inflatable pool to prevent her blood from spilling onto the garage floor. Defendant used a chainsaw and perhaps other tools to cut off her limbs. Small blue plastic fragments were embedded in the victim's remains, which were collected by the Los Angeles County Medical Examiner's Department. The fragments were analyzed by LAPD's Forensic Science Division Trace Analysis Unit. An expert was able to make a physical match from the blue fragments to the blue inflatable pool purchased by the defendant in May of 2025. In order to distance himself from the victim, He amputated her left ring and pinky fingers because her ring finger contained a tattoo of his name. Her fingers have not been recovered. Defendant then placed her head and torso into the cadaver bag he purchased. He placed her limbs into a garbage bag, which he deposited on the front into his front trunk, laying the cadaver bag on top. For several weeks or possible months, the defendant left the victim's body to decompose inside his Tesla. This is seriously so insane. I know, Knox. I'm like thinking, like, is this a bad joke? Like, I knew it was bad, but I didn't think it was this bad. I just, humans are evil. They can be so evil. The cuts had the plastic in them, so he got the plastic on the saw while cutting her. Yes. He tried to cut her up in that pool. Or he cut her up in that pool. The inflatable pool. I hope so. Kat Randall says this Tesla should have cameras all over it. Did he maybe leave her in Santa Barbara County until he could take her back and try to get rid of her? Just imagine how you would be acting if you're trying to hide a body. But where are her fingers? Exactly. Somewhere in Santa Barbara. In the water. Eaten by animals, by nature, doing what nature does. I just, no, I'm not okay. For several weeks or possibly months, the defendant left the victim's body to decompose inside his Tesla. He lied to friends, business associates, and others who noticed the strong smell of decay and in and around his home and vehicle. No. So when that girl in the video, remember when she was like, oh my God, it smells in here. And he was like, I just took a shit. It wasn't the poop. It could have been human remains smelling in his bathroom. For several weeks or possible months, the defendant left the victim's body to decompose inside his Tesla. He lied to friends, business associates, and others who noticed a strong smell of decay in and around his home and vehicle. Before leaving on his concert tour at the end of July, he parked his Tesla on the street around the corner from his home. Why? Like, he thought if he just leaves his Tesla, no one was going to wonder that it went back to him. I need to know what he was thinking behind that. Behind that thought. LAPD served a search warrant to defendant's home on September 17th after the victim was identified by the Los Angeles County Medical Examiner on the 16th. Inside the garage, detectives discovered evidence consistent with dismemberment of the victim's body in the inflatable pool. They found evidence. Oh my God. I want to cry for Celeste. Inside the garage, detectives discovered evidence consistent with dismemberment of the victim's body in the inflatable pool, which contained multiple linear cuts. Several biological samples, which tested positive for blood, were collected within the garage area. DNA analysis determined that the various samples matched the unique genetic profile. On December 9th, 2025, the medical examiner ruled the victim's death a homicide caused by 2 penetrating injuries to the torso. Wait, so her body was found on the 8th of September. Victim was identified on the 16th of September. On the 9th of December, the medical examiner ruled the victim's death a homicide. Her body was so badly decomposed they couldn't figure anything out for months. That's terrible. It's terrible. Usually in those kinds of death, you know that the victim suffered. Right? On December 9th, 2025, the medical examiner ruled the victim's death a homicide caused by 2 penetrating injuries to the torso. On January 17th, 2025, the victim's U.S. passport card was found by a Caltrans worker off SR 154 in Santa Barbara County. They found her stuff that he tried to get rid of in Santa Barbara. My heart can't handle this. My son's, what day is that, Cree? He probably had a piece of jewelry made from the finger bones. He's a freak. This guy is the worst of disgusting could ever imagine to be. Thank you, Melly, for studying. Yes. I don't, these are like the type of humans I question myself, you know, from a spiritual and religious perspective. We're not going to get into that conversation, but I question, why are people like this allowed to exist? This is horrifying. This is the thought I have in my head. Like, I think that Celeste, he was like, come over, let's talk about it, whatever, let's try to fix it. They were fighting other women. Celeste was a kid. He called her over. He calls her over an Uber to pick her up. She comes over. I think she's walking inside the house, maybe from whatever entry point, maybe the garage. I don't know. We don't know. He stabs her as she's walking in. That's what I'm thinking. I don't think she was inside and they were having sex and he stabbed her. No, I think as she was walking into the house, I think he stabs her or into something. I don't know why I envision that in my head. Because if you look at the autopsy, which I will be doing a video on or another live on, but the stabs in the front to the stabs in the back to the stabs in the front, it proves that she was trying to defend herself. Therefore, or maybe she went over and they were fighting and they took drugs or he gave her something and then she was like, I'm leaving. And she tried to leave. And he was like, bitch, you're not leaving, and stabs her. That's what I'm thinking too. Like, I'm thinking it was one of those. I don't think it was like a fight. I don't think it was a clean fight. Clearly not, because she lost her life. So I think that those are like what I'm thinking in my head. I think so. And he tripped her down the stairs. That's how she broke her ankle. Or he could have lured her over there. Like, let's make up, baby. Let's have sex. Let's do this. Gives her drugs. And then she like realizes or something throughout the night that that's not right. Something's off. Or she sees something on his phone or something. And she tries to leave. And he stabs her. I think he tried to get her before then because he knew his album release was coming, but she was stubborn, so it took a bit to get her there. But it happened as soon as the Uber dropped her off, right? I think. Because you guys have to think, it had to have happened in the garage, question mark, because if not, he would have had to drag that dead body down the stairs or something. And I think we would know something about that in this document. Maybe not. Maybe we don't have a lot of evidence yet. So I'm thinking that's why I think that something was going on. Either she was leaving or she just got there and he stabbed her and he had the means to get that body in that inflatable pool in the garage. That's why I was saying maybe she was trying to leave. Maybe she went over there and then realized something was off. Or maybe she threatened him and she was like, I'm leaving. And he was like, nope, no, you're not. And stabs her. LAPD served a search warrant at defendant's home on September 17, 2025, after the victim was identified by the Los Angeles County Medical Examiner on September 16, 2025. Inside the garage, detectives discovered evidence consistent with dismemberment of the victim's body in the inflatable pool, which contained multiple linear cuts. So he tried to cut her up in the pool. Several biological samples, which tested positive for blood, were collected within the range area, and DNA analysis determined the various samples matched the victim's unique genetic profile. On December 9th, 2025, they ruled that her death was a homicide by the 2 penetrating injuries to the torso. On January 17th, they found her body, her passport card. I think they meant January 2026 here, right? Is that what they mean? Is that a typo? Yeah, because they said December 9th, 2025, the medical examiner ruled the victim's death a homicide. On January 17th, 2026, I think they meant here. The victim's U.S. passport card was found by a Caltrans worker off SR 154 in Santa Barbara County. The people will present the following evidence at the preliminary hearing, including, but not limited to, the description of photographs depicting the victim naked, as well as while she was engaged with defendant in sexual activity when she was 13. So I was right. My thoughts, along with many of you guys, he had evidence of child sexual abuse material in that data, in those terabytes. The description of photographs depicting the victim naked, as well as while she was engaged with defendant in sexual activity. They have footage of them behaving in sexual activity. It's like Maddie Soto all over again. It literally is. Oh my God. This is absolutely insane. The description of photographs depicting the victim naked, as well as she was engaged with defendant in sexual activity when she was 13. As this evidence constitutes 𝗍𝗄𝗎, the photographs themselves will not be presented. It's so bad they don't even want to show them. The defense doesn't even want to show them. I mean, the state, they're like, nope, we're not even going to show them. Holy shit. While all possible charges that could be proven were not filed, the 𝗍𝗎𝗎 is proof of their ongoing sexual relationship while the victim was 13 and 14 years old. Numerous text messages between defendant and victim evidencing their sexual relationship, pregnancy, abortion, and use of Plan B. She was pregnant. She could have been pregnant, or she thought she was a few times. And there's text, and I'm dying to see those. I bet we all are, huh? All them YouTube channels, they're like dying for this. Dude, numerous text messages between the defendant and the victim evidencing their sexual relationship, pregnancy, abortion, and use of Plan B. A 13 or 14-year-old was worrying about taking Plan B and going through that. Am I the only one freaking out? I feel like I'm embarrassed of my reaction on this live, but I can't help it. I'm absolutely horrified. This is horrifying. I don't care what we thought about her, him, the family, the case, the situation. Point blank, hard stop, period. No matter whose child this is, it's absolutely brutal. And this is the only way we can connect on some kind of human level, is to think if this was your child. If this was your child dealing with someone and you couldn't control her, and dealing with an older person who then later raped her, groomed her, and dismembers her. The plan B, the abortion, okay, fine. Like, it's not like I'm okaying it, but it's almost more normal, right? Normal than dismembering a body. They're both absolutely sick, but how he let her body drain in his home, how he cut off her limbs is demonic. You have to think the mental state that you're in as you are doing these things, right? It's not like, oh, I just stole from the store. Or you are cutting up a human body. So envision yourself cutting up some fucking chicken. I don't eat red meat, but tri-tip. There you go. Like, think about a human. We can't fathom it. And it's normal for us to be this confused and disturbed because we are not killers. We are not human killers. We don't dismember bodies, etc. Right? It's almost normal for us to be having this reaction than not having it. That's what I think a therapist would tell you. Like, you are supposed to feel uncomfortable, and you are supposed to feel disgusted, and you are supposed to feel scared. And we are living in this type of world and with these type of humans, and the children are not safe. No one is safe. It's a really bad time in the world. And I just think on top of everything, it's like, oh, well, then here we go. And then here's the Celeste Rivas case, you know? Anyways, I'm going off on a tangent. Messages through March 2025 prove defendant continued to manipulate the victim as she messaged, "All we do is have sex and just hang out, man. I want more than that for myself." So even as a teenager, she was like, "You're just using me." He was just having sex with her. She messaged that in March of 2025. "All we do is have sex and just hang out, man. I want more than that for myself." He's gonna get a plea deal. He's gonna get a plea deal. It's too much. They have too much on him. The defense was like, "You want to go to trial in 60 days? Bitch, I'll give you trial in 60 days. Here you go. Just one document, one preliminary hearing of the evidence, and there you go. Say no more." Like, what is a jury supposed to think? A jury is us normal civilians, people who live in these societies and pay tax money, etc. Now that leads us to a whole political thing, right? Which we're not doing now, but she says, "All we do is have sex and just hang out, man. I want more than that for myself." These messages were obtained from the defendant's iCloud data. You don't get a plea deal for evidence like this. Can they just give him the death penalty with no trial? No, nothing. No trial. Like, just straight into the death penalty. I'm easy. I would use a PPU and I don't cut up nothing. He was satanic. That's what I'm saying. It's a very dark place where you have to be in. And you don't just get there from one day to another, like, oh, all of a sudden I'm going to start raping a child and then dismember her and drain her blood and watch it happen. Like, you don't just wake up. That's my whole thing of this. That's my whole thing of it all. Is like there were signs and there were flags, and I don't care who was on Interscope or whatever company he was being run by or his family. People knew and people saw and people stayed quiet. How are we supposed to grow as a society when you have people like that around all these demonic celebrities and stuff? We're seeing it with the Epstein files. Look how far look how people have buried the Epstein files with Nancy Guthrie, this and that, this and that, this and that. It's absolutely what's happening here. It's power, it's money, it's record companies, it's cults. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. This whole thing leads into other things, is what I'm trying to say. These messages were obtained from the defendant's iCloud data. Defendant's cellular activity and communications derived from the defendant's iPhone and Tesla, not Tesla coming through, which demonstrate the activities from April 22nd to April 24th. Including a trip to Santa Barbara in the middle of the night after the victim arrives at his Hollywood Hills home. So she was killed on the 23rd. So what? So what? What does that mean? The Tesla cameras caught something. Huh. Obviously. Between April 22nd and April 24th, she was allegedly killed on the 23rd. Maybe his travel time? Surveillance video of the defendant driving his Tesla on July 29th, 2025 for the last time before parking the vehicle and leaving on tour at the end of July. DNA evidence developed from the bloodstains collected from the defendant's garage, which matched the victim's genetic profile. There was blood stains in his garage. And I just need to know who saw those. Who were the people complicit in this? That's being complicit. I don't give a F if they were just blood stains on the garage. No. If I go over to my friend's house and there's some weird ass shit going on and I don't call it out, I'm complicit. No. Absolutely not. I'm not. I guess maybe you wouldn't want me as a friend. Because I look into that shit. Like if I walk into your home and something feels off, I ain't no snitch. But if there's children involved, yeah, I'm reporting you. 1000%. Absolutely. If there's children involved, absolutely. Don't even count on me. Don't even count on me. In the garage, watch the court case. What the car knows is creepy. I'm right there with you on your feelings regarding of this. Words can only express our feeling. Right? I know, I'm sorry. I'm not usually this like out of this world. But I hadn't read this before, so I should maybe learn and read the documents before I share. Maybe I'll take that advice for myself. And if I walk into my friend's house to smoke a blunt and she's like, come into the garage or something, and I see a weird stain on the floor, yeah, bitch, I am calling 911 on your ass. Call me a snitch. I don't care. Yeah, I will snitch too, says Maria. Yeah, no. Girl, we can smoke all the weed you want, but listen, if there's a blood stain there, I probably am not the friend you should be calling over. Like, absolutely 911. My homie here, sus. Like, absolutely. Yes, I am complicit. Yes, I was smoking drugs, but marijuana. But there's blood on my friend's floor. Thank you very much. Whether I report that anonymously or not, that's my business. But this is weird. DNA evidence developed from bloodstains collected from the defendant's garage, which matched the victim's genetic profile. Proof of defendant's not the Amazon. Amazon caught up Brian Koberger too. Listen, Amazon, at this point, we consider you a crime mini investigator. Amazon be telling too. Don't order anything under a different name because Amazon be knowing. Not that dildo, not that whatever you're ordering. Make sure it's coming to your name because they find out anyways. I'm so bad. Okay. Girl. Yes, girl. Hey, girl. Yeah, listen, whatever you're ordering off Amazon, I don't give a shit what it is. Just order it under your real name because they'll be finding out. They be finding out. David pretended he was Victoria Mendez. No. Victoria Mendez is like, I don't want no body bag. Why are you ordering that under my name? Respectfully, just don't order. Just period, don't order. If you're going to commit a crime, just don't go to Amazon, is what I'm saying. Proof of defendant's Amazon purchases and deliveries to his residence, including 2 chainsaws, a body bag, an inflatable pool, heavy-duty laundry bags, and a burn cage after April 24th. Because remember, he killed her on the 23rd. Yeah, Uncle Google, dude. If the police knocked on my door right now, bam, 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 and they were like, give me your phone, and they went through my Google searches, I alone would be arrested on that. I would let them too. I'd be like, listen, arrest me, look into it. I do true crime. Because I'd be looking some weird ass shit up, like body bags. And so I can empathize with their concern. I really could. It's some freaky shit. Proof of defendant's Amazon purchases and deliveries to his residence include 2 chainsaws, a body bag, and an inflatable pool, heavy-duty laundry bags, and a burn cage. Proof of defendant's purchase and delivery from Postmates of a shovel, not the Postmates. Not the Postmates delivering a shovel from Home Depot on April 24th. So what, he thought he was going to just bury her? And then he was like, I can't bury her. The dogs will smell her. I hate to say it, but you know, like the 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗏 thing, how they're studying him now? Okay, well, whatever. You should have done that with Bryan Kohberger too. That's one of the conversation. I think Brian shall be studied, or David. Brian should too be studied. But David for sure should be studied. Uber records showing defendant's transaction after, of course, with the promise that he will be killed after the death penalty. I think just activate it. California, absolutely. Whatever it is. What do they call it when they shoot them to death? I'm spacing it. Because there's like the lethal injection. What do they call it when they shoot them? I'm spacing it. But that's a good way. That's a good way to take David out. Not me over here endorsing violence. This is just for educational purposes only. Proof of, and these are very public documents. Proof of defendant's purchase and delivery from Postmates. Okay, so he got a shovel delivered on the 24th. Uber records showing defendant's transaction where he ordered an Uber to pick up the victim from her Lake Elsinore home and transport her to the residence on the night of April 23rd. Proof of defendant's lucrative career as a singer and songwriter prior to April 23rd, 2025. Defendant had an album release party on the night of April 24th. Yes, we've seen a lot of that. Where like, how did he go on to do that party before embarking on an international tour? I don't get it. He was on tour after firing squad. Thank you, Mel. That's what it is, firing squad. I'm like, what do you call that? The firing squad. Yes, bring that back to California. AI. Yep, do it. Amazon already knows about my Pepto-Bismol addiction. You're funny, psycho. Yeah, they know about me and my like skincare and stuff. Bloodstains were recovered with luminol. I think you had the best theory. He wasn't done with the body, so he kept it. Or he had so many people in that house that he couldn't find time to burn it. Okay, why is it that I had a dream about this? I know we're not going into a spiritual talk here, but we can on the After Dark. I had a dream that she was in the shower. Maybe I didn't dream that. Maybe it was a thought while I was awake. I don't know. I've been thinking that for a few days though, since we've been deep into this. I was thinking there at some point I see her in the shower. I see her in the shower. Is that weird? Maybe it was the pool. Maybe it was the whole pool thing. Maybe it was a pool thing. I was seeing water of some sort. You know, that's a whole spiritual thing anyways, but we're not going to get started. We're not even going to discuss my lip gloss addiction. Yeah, I ordered mayo off Amazon. How Melly? Dude, yes, my Google searches from just true crime research, no bueno. Right, ATS, we would be like, arrest us. And then we would sue them because we're like, we were only researching true crime. No, but really, today I like was searching body bags. So I'm sure Google probably does not think that's very normal. We're not even going to discuss. Maybe it should be investigated. Oh, not First Liberty saying I should be investigated. Defendant had an album release party on April 24, 2025. Text message exchanged between defendant and the victim on April 22nd and April 23rd, where the victim threatened to expose the defendant and destroy his career. I wonder what Celeste saw on his phone or what she found out or what was going on. And she was like, I'm done. I'm done being your victim. You're a predator. You're a liar. I'm going to the police or something, right? Text message exchange between the defendant and the victim on April 22nd and April 23rd. So the day she died, where the victim threatened to expose the defendant and destroy his career. And you guys, step outside from like what we're thinking here, right? Like, I know that the David supporters are going to be like, oh, well, she threatened to tell. Bitch, no, she threatened to tell because she's a kid. Like, you have to place yourself in that position, right? Like, she was a kid. She doesn't know what love is. She was being groomed. Who knows what abortions she had with David or whatever. That's the person who has been saying that he's going to take care of her. Regardless of her family issues, as I've said here before, and I said it on this live, yes, I think her family should be held accountable just as much as his family. But aside from that, like separate the both. Like she didn't, the both. Separate both. She didn't know. Like it's a child being groomed. Their brain is developing and this is what they think is normal behavior, which is not. It's not. It's rape. It's grooming. It's child abuse. So I really wonder what was going on here. The brief is filed to assist the court in understanding the scope and relevance of evidence the prosecution intends to present at a preliminary hearing. The prosecution has issued numerous subpoenas and is prepared to proceed with preliminary hearing. The defense has had multiple opportunities to request a continuance, but has not done so. Furthermore, California Penal Code 1050 requires the defense to provide at least 2 court stay notice request continuance. In the view of the limited scope of evidence to be presented at the preliminary hearing detailed in this brief, there should be no substantial impediment to moving forward with the hearing as scheduled. Nathan Hochman, District Attorney of Los Angeles. Nathan, I think there's like a revote or something going on, elections. Am I wrong? Don't come to me for politics. I am not your girl. Like, I will full-heartedly admit if I ever talk about politics on here, don't listen to me. But I'm impressed. I'm impressed as I think he's the same one that has been handling Nick Reiner case. Nick Reiner also had court today. I haven't done a live on him, but if you want a little update on the Nick Reiner case, they have not been able to get autopsies back, which I have questions about, because what do you mean you don't have the autopsy back? They got Celeste, and what do you mean you don't have Nick Reiner's parents' autopsy back? So anyways, but Nathan Hochman. Wow. Wow. I will probably review this live and drop a video on it tonight, but I will probably be back to this tomorrow on a live. Yeah, you might get sick of it. I don't think I can stop talking about this case. I think for those 7 months that Celeste didn't have justice, I think now is the time to be talking about it and spreading the word. Hi, La Karma. Good to see you, love. It baffles me the money he has could have buried her. And you guys, I can't. Let's do a little revisit. Like, what? What are the worst parts of this document? Everything. Like, the defense knew exactly what they were putting out. So, he was the last person to drive the Tesla. We learned that today. There was insects on the bag. Insects were multiplying on her body. A plastic garbage bag beneath the cadaver bag contained dismembered arms and legs. So her ring and pinky finger are nowhere to be found. They couldn't even identify her except from dental records. So we know how brutal that is. They met when she was 11 years old. Okay, there's that. They began having sex in November of 2023. So a child having sex with an adult. He was 18. I know in some cultures that's probably like not a big difference, like 5 years, but it is now. Unfortunately, we're in 2026. We got to grow out of that place, right? It's not normal. I'll just say that much. Like, it's fucking not. So they contacted him on February 17, 2024. So after then, hard stop. He knew she was a minor after February 17, 2024. So really anything after that, we don't believe you, David. D4vd, Tommy, whoever you are. So they identified a phone number in the victim's phone records. The defendant claimed he had last spoken to her on February 13, 2024, but he was unaware that she was a minor. They did a welfare check. Did David not think, okay, they're on to me. They're doing a welfare check. The police is involved. They went to the defendant's home that night at 8:15 p.m. and informed him that the 13-year-old was a runaway. David claims he was unaware that she was a minor. However, the defendant showed deputies a yearbook photo of the victim he had on his cell phone. So how predatory is that? You really are going to tell the police that you don't know anything, but then you have a photo of her in the yearbook? Why would he show them that? He knew damn well she was a minor. Although he claimed to be unaware of where the victim was at the time, she returned home 2 days later. This right here, remember that email that 𝗝𝗍 has? Remember he said that the management company, an anonymous source emailed the management company and told them, hey, Celeste is missing. She's a 13-year-old, blah, blah, blah. And she returned home. I think this is the time. This is when the management knew that she was missing and everybody knew. This is why the defense is putting that in here. Despite being informed by law enforcement, the victim was only 13. Defendant continued to pursue her. So it shows he's a sick, devious monster. After the victim returned home in February 2024, her parents took her cell phone away. That's when he started paying high school students off. So he paid someone in her class to give her a cell phone so they could have contact. So Celeste went to school or whatever. Her parents took her phone away. David goes and pays one of her friends or someone $1,000 to give her another phone so that he could keep preying upon her. Throughout 2024, the victim spent a significant time with the defendant, including Las Vegas, London, and Texas, to meet his family. This is where 𝗍𝗶 Burke, what's his mom's name? Why am I spacing it? What's her name? I want to be nosy and find out. 𝗍𝗶 Burke. Colleen. There we go. Colleen Burke, I think is her name. They're complicit. They transferred all his money and properties into their name. Okay. Well, we know you're complicit. Now this is just proving that you are. Text messages between the defendant reference sex, pregnancy, abortion, and Plan B. I just feel it in my soul that she was pregnant at some time. Oh yeah, the prosecution, you're right, Mel. He didn't even try to hide his guilt. No, he didn't. Colleen and Anthony, Dad. Well, they found her passport, so she had one. I think she either feared she was pregnant or she got pregnant at some point because she was so young and she was just starting her period. She was too young for birth control. I think it happened as he was grooming her. I do. There are also explicit photographs documenting and corroborating the relationship. Because if you're raping a child who hasn't started their period, you obviously, it's just going to happen, right? It sounds brutal, but it's exactly how it happens. There are also explicit photographs documenting and corroborating their sexual relationship. So there's pictures of them having sex. In November of 2024, the defendant and victim broke up. They continued to communicate, and text messages suggest they continue to have sexual relationships. A sexual relationship. April 23rd is a likely date of the victim's death and when all her cellular activity ceased. The night prior, April 22nd, the defendant and victim engaged in a lengthy argument. They were fighting. The messages reveal the victim's jealousy over the defendant's relationship with other women, as the defendant led her to believe they had a future together. He groomed her and he was like, we're going to get married, blah, 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 blah. And then he was seeing other women, other girls that were around groupies. And she was probably like, what? She became extremely upset and threatened to disclose damaging information about her relationship with the defendant to end his career and destroy his life. He had a multi-million-dollar career already in progress. At 8:40 p.m. on April 23rd, he sent an Uber to pick her up from her parents' home. As I said earlier, what the hell were the parents doing at this time? Rebel or not, like, she was playing with fire, didn't know. This was all too much for her. She was not mature on many levels for this and had no idea what she was walking into. I agree, ATS. She's a child. I don't blame Celeste for any of this. I think that she was just, like you said, she didn't know what she was walking into. She was groomed. She may have gotten pregnant to try to keep him, but she was a child herself, but maybe she thought it would make him happier to keep him. They communicated before and during her Uber ride at 10:10 p.m. At 10:30 p.m., the defendant sent text messages, so he killed her before 10:10 p.m. Because it says right here that people contend this was part of the defendant's premeditated plan to cover her up. She was already dead. So between 8:40 p.m. and 10:10 p.m. on April 23rd, he killed her. So in that hour and 30 minutes, he killed her. He stabbed her in the liver. And she bled out, or started to, at least internally, bleeding out. Knowing he had to silence the victim before she ruined his music career, defendant stabbed the victim to death multiple times and stood by while she bled out. Despite knowing she was dead and her family trying to find her, the evidence will show the defendant lied and claimed he didn't know where she was. So he went to Santa Barbara and got rid of her fingers and the weapon. Sounds like it. So that Santa Barbara trip was a thing. All of us sleuths who were onto that. At approximately 11:30 p.m. on the 23rd, he drove away from his home. So he kills her, puts her in the car, and is like, dude, I gotta do something about this. Pretends she's still alive and is texting her because he thinks he's covering his tracks. But the Tesla drove north on 101 freeway in Santa Barbara. He then returns early on April 24th, 2025. So somewhere in Lake 𝗏𝗏𝗃 in Santa Barbara County, he was doing something, burying her fingers, some ritualistic offering, burying the weapon, something. He then returned home on April 24th. He pretends that she's still alive, so he's still hitting her up, like texting her, like, oh, hey, so he doesn't look guilty. He purchases tools to dismember her. He orders a shovel on April 24th. 2 chainsaws on May 1st, which shows premeditation because she was dismembered on May 5th. On May 5th, the defendant ordered body bags. So where was she before the body bag and the blue inflatable pool to his home? This is a big question right here. Before he had it delivered, because he dismembered her on May 5th at some point. But then on that same day, he has the same day delivery of the body bag and the blue inflatable pool. So was she just like in the garage on the floor? Was she in the shower? Like, what's going on here? He then made purchases under the fake name Victoria Mendez. On May 8th, the defendant returned to the same area in Santa Barbara. So he goes back to where he left her belongings, right? Or maybe back where he left the car, leaving his home at around 11:30. No, because it's in Santa Barbara County. So he went back to where he left her remains. Right? Am I understanding that right? He then returned on May 31st. Yeah, her identification was discovered in January of 2026. Someone found her passport. On July 7th, 2025, the defendant ordered a burn cage. He had measures to destroy the victim's body. After placing her body into the blue inflatable pool to prevent her from blood from spilling onto his garage floor, defendant used a chainsaw and perhaps other tools to cut off her limbs. Small blue plastic fragments were found embedded in the victim's remains, which were collected by the medical examiner. An expert was able to make a physical fit match from the blue fragments to the blue inflatable pool purchased. In order to distance himself from the victim, he amputated her left ring and pinky fingers. He places her into the body bag and into the trunk. She's left to rot and decompose with bugs and insects. He was the last one who parked it. So there's photographs depicting the victim naked, as well as the defendant engaged in sexual activity when she was 13. This will not be presented. The prosecution is like, nope, it's so bad. We're not even going to present it. A judge can look at it, whatever. While the possible charges could not be proven were not filed, the CSAM is proof of their ongoing sexual relationship. Numerous text messages between the defendant and the victim evidencing their relationship. Pregnancy, abortion, and use of Plan B. She texted him in March of 2025 and said, all we do is have sex and just hang out. Just hang out. I want more than that for myself. That makes me so sad. She may have gotten pregnant, tried to keep him. She was a child by herself and maybe thought it would make him happy. Yeah, trigger warning. Firing squad, absolutely. How do they know he stood by and watched? Unless there's video, which I do not doubt. Video or text message? I know it's so brutal, ATS. It's so much more brutal than I thought. I wonder what the last video was that he recorded. Listen, I think they have a lot. I think they have a lot. This is pretty wild. Defendant's cellular activity from the activity communications derived from the defendant's phone demonstrate activities from the 22nd to the 24th, including the trip to Santa Barbara. Surveillance video of defendant driving his Tesla for the last time. They collected blood from his garage. That right there. They did blood testing in his garage. So it's safe to say that's where she died. I think she was trying to leave. I think he lured her over there, got her an Uber. They were fighting, and I think she tried to leave, and that's why she has those wounds and those defensive wounds. The wounds start in the back. She could have been walking away, right? Proof of defendant's Amazon purchases and deliveries to the residence, including 2 chainsaws, a body bag, and an inflatable pool, heavy-duty laundry bags, and a burn cage. They were delivered on April 24th. He orders a shovel. The brief is filed to assist the court in understanding the scope and relevance of evidence the prosecution intends to present. So they're like, here's a taste of what we're going to present at the preliminary hearing. The prosecution has issued numerous subpoenas and is prepared to proceed. Prosecution is like, we're not playing. We're ready. The defense has had multiple opportunities to request a continuance. You guys, this is absolutely crazy. This is absolutely insane. I can't get over it. I can't get over it. I can't get over this document. Would it still be lying in wait if they were already fighting or together? I don't know. Like, if it, in terms of the law, I'm not a lawyer. I'm just a true crime junkie. I don't think he's this dumb. I feel like he may have planned this entire thing because he thought he could be infamous. Yeah. Cree says if there's a trial. Yeah, I'm only a few hours away from the courtroom. I know I haven't attended any of the hearings, but I would like to be at that trial for sure. For sure. Absolutely. Absolutely. Even the May 26th, like I might try to even make it to that. Today, I didn't do a live earlier because I knew. I'm like, there's a hearing. It's obviously not public. They're not going to release anything right off the bat. But I waited until this document dropped, and I'm so glad I did. Go, Melly. Yeah, I would definitely try to. Is his family still going to support him after these videos? Listen, ATS. Girl, I'm not the one to be asking. I went off on a tangent earlier, like all of his parents should be arrested. If you ask me, bring them all in at the same time. The parents knew, her parents, his parents. Melly, I'm up in the Bay Area. I'll go with you. Yeah, I would love that. Like a little meetup and go to it. I can so see that. You'd kill it reporting live from the courthouse. Thank you, 𝗠𝗲𝗃. I would love to do that. And 𝗠𝗲𝗃's a big supporter of that. So thank you. I appreciate you. And if they have pictures of her being naked at 13, imagine what other stuff they have. This is just like a little hearing. Like, this is like, hey, we have enough evidence. This is what we want you to see. They have stuff. They have stuff. Road trip. Yeah. I have family and friends out in the LA area too, like specifically that area too. So it would just have to be a planned thing, but it's doable. His parents are in Texas, so why blame them? He seems to have a lot of alone time with her. But she went to Texas to his parents' home. She didn't. So they should have reported her then, right? And if they did, we just don't know it yet, then I take back what I said. But if they didn't, it's like right now. I have a niece, and if I let her to go date an older man, like, how am I not complicit? Even as her aunt, I would be held accountable. At least I would expect that. Right? If my 12-year-old niece right now, 11-year-old niece right now was running off with an older man, and here I am talking to you guys about it and just being like, oh, it is what it is, or maybe not talking to you guys about it and keeping it to myself. I'm being complicit because I didn't report it. And I do have nieces her age, so it really hits home. It does, and it scares me. And I have nephews that are just into the gaming community, you know? I think that Celeste met him on Fortnite. I think that actually is turning out to be true. They're saying that it was Discord. No, I think it could have been a game. Could have been some gaming thing. You can tell an underage person exactly just think. Even me as an adult, when I go out or if there's a guy trying to get my number or something and he's younger, I can tell. Like, I absolutely question it. Even as a female with a man, I'm like, he's way too young. And he might only be a few years younger. But I can tell, at least with maturity. And I think that's a human thing we can all tell, right? Shit, my nieces look older than me. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. She went to his show with his parents or something, right? Yeah. In this document, it said she went to their home. She met up with them. So they definitely knew. They have load of evidence on him and a lot of those Discord. I do think he could have been reported to prior to Celeste. We've seen a lot of that in the rabbit holes we've gone down on the Discord. People saying that, are you still dating a minor? Where's that girl? Remember the pregnancy Discord post? I might do a live on that tomorrow. Remember, I think we covered it, like, was it last live or 2 lives ago? There was like a deleted account linked to David and Celeste. And there was somebody said something about, or Celeste, I think it was Celeste, her deleted username said that, no, it was David. David's name said that he was expecting. Yep. I'm going to dig into those files tonight and match them up with this report, because if that was around the time, then Celeste could have been pregnant before her death. Because I believe that was 2023. Yeah, someone called him out, or someone brought it up, the pregnancy thing, in the Discord, in his Discord. Yes, Smelly, right? It's like the more information we get, the more we're connecting it to what is actually out there. Good thinking. Yeah. I'll go back and pull them tonight. I'll probably do another live. The Laura Owens live that I had scheduled tonight, I have moved it to tomorrow. So tomorrow I'll probably do a David live and a Laura Owens live. I am too at ATS. I've always thought this. I'm sure there was a pregnancy at some point, right? Whether it was at the very beginning or middle. Maybe they couldn't, maybe because her body was so decomposed, they couldn't tell if there was fetal DNA, which is possible. It's absolutely possible. She could have been pregnant and been so badly decomposed. I don't know. It's possible. It's science. I'm sure they know. And if they don't know that she was pregnant or she wasn't, I think she was before. And I think that's a lot of the reason why she was so groomed and connected to David as a child, being in love with him. If normal women of the normal age go through it, I absolutely think someone who's being groomed and abused or whatever would go through it. If people my age, women my age go through things like that, I wouldn't knock it. I wouldn't knock it at all. And there's nothing wrong with that. Women can do with their bodies what they want. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying for a child, it's a different type of situation, right? It's not the same as if you have a 35-year-old or a 45-year-old or a 29-year-old talking about taking Plan B. It's a very different situation than a 11-year-old, 12-year-old taking a Plan B or misoprostol to have an abortion. And David has the hookup. I'm sure he can get prescription drugs, any drugs from whoever, right? When you have money and you're famous, then there's endless resources. So there's that too. She was not mature enough for any of this on many levels. I get so sad thinking about this, like on my own. I'm just like, damn. It's really so sad. She was groomed and then all of this, and then to be dismembered and your body's not even intact. Like you can't even rest in peace because, you know, there's no justice and you were dismembered. It's a brutal way of leaving the earth, whatever spiritual thing you believe in. It's brutal. It really is. She was just a child. Exactly. She was just a child. And I don't mean to be like brutal against her family or his family, but I do. Like, I won't take any of that back. What I said at the beginning of the live. They all should be held accountable. And I think his management or whoever the hell is getting immunity or Neo or Asia, I think that if there was people physically involved that knew, I think they should be held accountable. We can agree to disagree on that part for sure. Stabbed, awful. I know. Anyways, shout out to you guys for being here. Glad we got to go over these documents. Everyone's going to be reviewing them tomorrow. So I'll probably do another live connecting some of the information to that. And we can go over that. And I moved the Laura Owens hearing that we were going to review to tomorrow as well. You just think you mean Gus, Celeste X? Well, that's a whole nother thing, you know, the X and that whole thing. That's why I'm hesitant on being nice, because there is the Gus situation. Really? I've tried to subscribe to your channel 3 times, doesn't it will not let me. Huh. That's really weird. I don't know why. I'm glad I see you though, and you can be here, shorty. So I appreciate that. Gus was shot in gang violence, but I think he was an adult too. But that was her like first dude she was involved in with, right? YouTube is so damn glitchy. I know it is. Something needs to change in society for kids like this. From like broken homes and like CPS. It's a whole nother rabbit hole. Listen. Don't talk to me about what I think predators should be getting, because I'm like no easy way out. I think death penalty all across the board for anyone who hurts children, but wishful thinking. The laws need to definitely change though. That's for sure. That's for sure. Thank you, shorty. I appreciate that. Anyways, tap the like button on the way out. I will be back. That's a long live, almost 3 hours. I will be back tomorrow. So I will see you then. Yep. Leave Earth. Exactly. Agree. Any child crime, DP. I back that up 1000%. Anyways, shout out to you guys for being here. Please make sure you hit the like button. I will see you guys tomorrow for more Celeste Rivas and more true crime. Thank you for being here.